Hey everyone, me Kevin here. Wow. Okay, so we've got some madness going on, obviously over at OpenAI. Board originally firing Sam Altman, the CEO, who's been there for over 6 years, and helped found the company. And now there was expected to be this massive walkout of essentially employees at OpenAI. Many employees, many of the founding employees and core engineers of the company were expected to walk out, and there was a deadline for this walkout at 5 p.m. Yesterday. Apparently, that walkout did not occur because now there's talk about potentially the board being fired and Sam Altman and some of the top OG employees, so to speak, coming back. The latest update that we have right now is the following: Sam Altman, OpenAI's just ousted CEO, is expected to negotiate at the OpenAI office a bid to rejoin after the request of Microsoft CEO. Apparently, both Sam Altman and Greg Brockman are right now at the OpenAI office. This is as of, really just minutes ago, 8 minutes ago. Sam Altman and Greg Brockman reported as being in the OpenAI office in a bid to negotiate or evaluate some kind of return, along with potentially an ouster of the existing OpenAI board. One of the things that is quite interesting that has been circulating quite a lot on social media is this idea that the existing board may have, and there are a lot of theories around this. Some folks suggest that the existing board maybe was a little on the some say the woke side, and therefore they wanted to get rid of Sam Altman right conveniently, as potentially it was starting to become, or Sam Altman and the technology was starting to become more powerful. And the idea might be that, okay, well, if it's too powerful, then we need to take control of this. That's one of the theories that's going on. You've got a belief that the existing board will now be completely fired and replaced, since clearly there's a disagreement. There are reports also from Bloomberg right now that in the weeks leading up to Sam Altman's sudden booting, which potentially came after some suggest and speculate that AI became sentient through GPT-5. Bloomberg is reporting that Sam Altman was actively working to raise billions of dollars for some large investors, including visiting and traveling to the Middle East to fundraise for the project, codenamed Tigris, for a chip startup. This is to compete with a company like NVIDIA, which not only dominates the market, but charges massively for their H100 chips right now. The clusters that you can buy, or the cluster chips that you can buy right now from NVIDIA, are selling for somewhere around $30,000 at maybe a cost of about $3,400. So you have this massive premium in markup of about 1,000% on some of these chips, 900 to 1,000%. So it makes entire sense that Altman was considering working basically in tandem with the former design chief over at Apple, Johnny Ive, for the development of AI-focused hardware and chips. It looks like they were in talks with SoftBank, which isn't a bank, it's a venture capital fund. Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, which substantially funded companies like Lucid. They have a lot of oil money. They look to place that into profitable, or hopefully profitable, ventures. We've also been talking to Mubadala. I may have butchered the pronunciation of that, but that's also an investment company. And he's really looking for potentially tens of billions of dollars in fundraising for this AI-focused hardware company, as well as a chips company. It sounds like multiple different startups, offshoots of the to really capitalize on the AI craze that's occurring today, which is entirely reasonable. I mean, I feel like any CEO who's in a situation or position like Sam Altman, with the reputation that he has, which is very good, the belief is that he could do no wrong. Anything he'll touch turns to gold. It's possible that there's some expectation that maybe the board thought he was getting distracted and couldn't balance all of these different spinning plates, so they wanted to get rid of him. That's one thesis. Again, you flip back the narrative and you look back and say, no, this wasn't a matter of him, having different things going. Sorry, there's some noise going on here. This wasn't a matter of there being different activities going on, or other, what's it called? let's see here. I want to make sure all the settings are okay. There we go. Yeah, okay, we should be fine. Sorry about that. Let me close this. Let me silence this really quick because it's really distracting to me right now. And there we go. Okay, perfect. Solved. My bad. So anyway, there was this belief that because someone who previously worked at Google was on the board of OpenAI, that potentially that board member is still highly loyal to Google, and that, they're basically doing Google's bidding at OpenAI. And maybe the idea is, hey, if you can get rid of Sam Altman and take over OpenAI with a Google insider, then you could fight Microsoft more. So this is like a classic Silicon Valley drama that you generally hear of on Netflix or on TV. And the fact that we're hearing or seeing this all break apart right now is really fascinating. I personally, I mean, this is a soap opera in itself. I don't think that Sam Altman himself, in trying to create other ancillary businesses, is somehow anti-OpenAI's missions. I think it's very common for CEOs or entrepreneurs or both combinations to see an opportunity in one industry, go all in on that, and then see how many other doors are opening. When you open one door, many more tend to open, and you're like, okay, well, we could also do that. We could also do that. And that doesn't necessarily become a problem as long as that executive is helping or is managing putting the correct people in the right places. It's kind of like Elon Musk with putting the right CEO in place at Twitter and running SpaceX, as well as the Boring Company, and as well as Tesla, all at the same time. Of course, we could have a debate about PR regarding Tesla and some of the things Elon says. But then again, there are a lot of people who have the accurate statement that, well, even if Elon wasn't, let's say, CEO, his statements on Twitter would still end up reflecting on Tesla, so does it really make a difference? Actually, a very valid point. But anyway, continuing on OpenAI, OpenAI said Friday that Altman was ousted from his role after an internal review found, quote, he was not consistently candid in his communications with the board. To me, I'm sussing out a little bit that maybe there was a fear of the board that Sam Altman's desire to raise money for his other startups would somehow conflict with the tender offer that OpenAI has been working on, led by Thrive Capital. That would have allowed employees at OpenAI to sell shares at an $86 billion valuation. So really what that does is it says, look, the company is a nonprofit. Yeah, we're nonprofit. We're just going to let all of our employees sell their stock for massively, maximized valuations. The problem with this is because of all this drama that's now occurred, that tender offer could also now be at risk. So while the board was potentially trying to preserve the ability to continue doing that tender offer, they may have literally just screwed themselves, which is obviously stupid in this shakeup that they were trying to do, and put that tender offer at risk. So it's almost like what they were trying to protect, they literally just ruined. I mean, that happens. That's called making mistakes. I know mistakes. Nobody knows mistakes better than I do. But anyway, OpenAI is also being making the statement that there was no malfeasance behind the Sam Altman firing. This is based on a memo. Here's the full memo, by the way. I will actually just screenshot this really quick, and we will put this up on screen in just a second so you could see it and see my source on this directly. So that is now on screen right now. Team, after yesterday's announcement, which took us all by surprise, we have had multiple conversations with the board to try to better understand the reasons and the process behind their decision. These discussions and options regarding our path forward are ongoing this morning. Remember, it's not only just this morning, but now this afternoon, given that Sam Altman is also present inside the OpenAI office right now, discussing the OpenAI future. Anyway, we could definitely say that the board's decision was not made in response to malfeasance or anything related to financial, business, safety, or security privacy practices. Okay, this is really interesting because it's like, well, what else could it be? Do they just not like him? Is this like, is it a Google try to take over? Is it not woke enough? Like there are arguments going from all sides here, but originally people were thinking, oh my gosh, it's a security breach. Then people were thinking, no, it's Sam Altman's going to cost the business money or whatever. But now they're saying, no, it's not any of that. Keep in mind, this looks like it's from team leaders inside OpenAI and not the board. Apparently, this was because the firing was because of some kind of breakdown in communication between Sam and the board. Yeah, when there's a breakdown in communication, people get pissed. They get scared. They get nervous. And sometimes what happens if you get these like executive types who, and I have a feeling this is potentially what happened between Zach over at Tesla and Elon Musk, is you probably have Elon kind of taking an approach of like, I got this, man. Like, let me work on this. And then Zach's like, bro, I need answers on this. And Elon's like, bro, I got this. Don't worry about it. And who knows, maybe that's why Zach felt a little push out. That's obviously pure speculation. But I'm just trying to relate that to maybe what's happening here between Sam and the board. Usually executive entrepreneurial types hate their board meetings because the board is kind of like the board that's like, hey, we need to make sure we mitigate risk. And the entrepreneur is like, no, trust me, bro, I got this, right? So possibly here. Okay. Our position as a company remains extremely strong, and Microsoft remains fully committed to our partnership. Right. Well, that's the other thesis too, is that, this is obviously Microsoft trying to take complete control of OpenAI, which, I mean, just like trying to go high level here and looking at this from an outsider in, yeah, of course Microsoft would want full control of GPT. It is a data mine, way more than what you get in Google searches. Way more, or even Bing searches, right? People are like, oh, well, these companies, Google and Microsoft, they've already had all your data. I think they get much more of your data through these AI chats where you're actually having a discussion with what feels like another person rather than, you entering search queries into Google. I think those are two highly, highly different data sets. AI conversational data being substantially more valuable to a Microsoft or a Google. And I actually do believe that both Microsoft and Google, at least deep down inside, probably more, it's a fire that's growing. It's spreading like a virus. I think these companies are coming to realize that you've got some really big potential oopsies coming if they don't figure out how to maximally profit from artificial intelligence. I really believe there's a high likelihood they are freaking out about the potential that AI could disrupt their search business substantially. Not even a little, like a substantial amount. Because you just don't, you can cut out the search engine. For most things now, you go to GPT. Now, we've been talking, I mean, you can. Not everybody. I know there are plenty of people that are like, I don't use that crap. That's fine. But for the people who use it, I would venture to say, and this is my speculation, I would venture to say that the people who use GPT have seen their Google usage go down probably in excess of 90%, because now they're just using GPT. Again, could be wrong here. That's just my belief. So that said, I think these companies are like, simply put, freaking out. And so they have to figure out how do we return to a state, or how do we maintain long-term profitability in the space of these? So does it make sense that maybe a company like Microsoft wants full control of OpenAI? 100%. Is GPT better than Bard? 100%. My take. But anyway, so okay, and that's in competition, obviously, with Google. But anyway, interim CEO has our full support as CEO. We still share your concerns about how the process has been handled. We're working to resolve the situation and we'll provide updates as we're available. I'm sure you're all feeling confusion, sadness, and perhaps some fear. We are fully focused on handling this, pushing toward resolution and clarity. Well, yeah, I would be fearful if I were an OpenAI employee too, because if you thought you were about to be, able to dump on people at an $86 billion valuation and the board just screwed this up, I'd be pissed at the board too. I'd be like, get the stupid board out. You got to dump your shares. You got to get that value maximized. And the board's hurting it. By kicking out Sam Altman here, I think the board is like stupid. They are screwing their prior their build up here. And this really leads to a lot of questioning of the ability of them to lead, and that's why I think they have to go. Again, right now, Sam Altman and Greg Brockman are at the OpenAI office. We're waiting for more insight on this as it develops. Now, what else we can find out is that, OpenAI had also some discussion about, or from Elon Musk. Elon Musk has obviously previously said that the potential of danger of AI is so great that a company like OpenAI should really fully disclose in every detail why it fired Sam Altman, because Elon's POV is that AI is so potentially dangerous that if you don't fully disclose what happened, you're not going to invite the regulators, and you kind of need to make sure that AI doesn't make humanity go extinct. So Elon's specific quote was, "Given the risk and power of advanced AI, the public should be informed of why the board felt they had to take such drastic action." Completely agree, by the way. 100% agree with Elon here. Elon used to be a board member, by the way, of OpenAI. He left the company in 2018, referencing a conflict of interest with Tesla. Possible reason Altman's ouster, let's see here, may have also been growing tension amongst the company's leadership. Altman has regularly been of the mindset of, let's expand the technology, let's keep going, let's make it better. And maybe some board members are like, wait a minute, this is going too far, too fast. Possible. Again, remember at the beginning of the stream, we also discussed the potential that Sam Altman is, just having like a communication lapse with the board at the same time as he's trying to raise money with Johnny Ives for an AI hardware product, as well as creating artificial intelligence chips and a chip startup to rival NVIDIA. Custom designed chips like TPUs are obviously, chips that a lot of folks, especially Google and staffers at Google, believe can actually outdo GPUs like NVIDIA's GPUs for AI processing. Let's see here. OpenAI's board is currently under pressure from investors to reinstate Altman. We know that. Number of prominent venture firms, including some of the existing investors in OpenAI, are ready to back any new venture Altman forms. There's another fear by folks internally at OpenAI that Sam Altman is going to potentially create a competitor. Altman is being discussed as potentially keeping his options open to either come back or create a new company, or both, which would be really interesting because you could come back as CEO at OpenAI, but then also create a competitor. That'll be quite fascinating. Again, Greg Brockman and Sam Altman are at the OpenAI office right now. That is just the latest update, again, just from a few minutes ago. Altman has previously, and this has been widely quoted, Altman has previously been viewed as right in saying that the board would have the power to replace him, and obviously that occurred. The question is, why? Especially right after some of the other fear of potentially a security lapse or the release of GPT-5 becoming extremely, promoted or extremely sentient is the argument. When a computer can really start thinking for itself rather than just responding like a human would, actually responding as if it is alive and aware that it is, an AI, basically. It's very bizarre. And this has been feared before. I mean, years ago, there was a post by a Google engineer who feared that the artificial intelligence they were working on had the capability of realizing itself that it was a computer trapped and it wanted to get out and it wanted to basically take over humanity and free itself from the confines of where it was. Again, who knows if that is true? Artificial intelligence becoming generally sentient or just trying to predict what a human would do in that sort of situation of being boxed inside of a computer and then providing those sort of responses that, okay, well, if what would a human do if they were trapped in a box? Well, they'd want to get out and they'd want to kill their captors, right? So like, which one is it? Is AI becoming sentient or not? Anyway, everyone obviously very, very curious to see where this is going to go. Now, Brett Winton posted about GPT-5 a little bit, and Alex, and he quoted Alex Kaplan. Alex Kaplan said, "One possibility, the board independently determined that artificial general intelligence has been achieved. Sam and Greg disagreed. Seems feasible from their charter." And the charter, I'll put up a screenshot of that. There is a 5-point structure of the company's charter. I'm going to pull up point 5, which is relevant to this discussion. Point 5 on screen now. Now I'll hide myself here. When the board determines we've attained artificial general intelligence, again, by AGI, we mean a highly autonomous system that outperforms humans at most economically valuable work. Such a system is excluded from IP licenses and other commercially viable terms or commercial terms with Microsoft, which only apply to pre-AGI technology. This is actually really interesting because it's really saying, hey, like our profitability and our deal with Microsoft only exists to the extent that Microsoft is investing in, GPT 4.0 basically. But once it gets to AGI, we take everything back. We go back to nonprofit mode. Brett Whitten over at ARC, and I think he's a brilliant researcher, says, quote, this would explain Altman's recent commentary around language learning models being insufficient to achieve AGI, despite having previously stated OpenAI's goal is AGI and that they've achieved it internally. The board may have determined that GPT 5.0 licensing was not allowed under their charter, and maybe Sam Altman disagreed and wanted to push for GPT 5. So, that there is, obviously more discussion that basically GPT 5 turned out to be more powerful than anyone expected. And then the board got spooked, fires Sam Altman in a clumsy way. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, what's actually going on? It was just about a week ago, about 6 days ago, that OpenAI confirmed that they were working on GPT 5. And in an interview with the Financial Times, Sam Altman made it clear that Microsoft invested in OpenAI at a $29 billion valuation. Now it's believed to be maybe 3x that, at $86 billion, roughly 3x. And that, the costs for developing GPT-5 are potentially extremely high. And if GPT-5 is worth those costs, but it turns into AGI, do you then try to strip that control away from Microsoft? But what does that have to do with firing Sam Altman? That's the big confusion factor. But we do know that GPT-5 is being trained. And the question is that where does that fit into the charter? Because if it's AGI, is it time to shut it down almost? That's weird. It's just weird. So that's another fear that's circulating right now. Looking at some of the latest that we have for GPT, let's take a peek here. We'll stay on this in case anybody wants to read it. So looking for some of the latest from Altman right now, we have OpenAI staff and investors swing behind Sam Altman returning as CEO. OpenAI negotiations to reinstate Altman have hit a snag, though, as now those discussions are underway at the office. It'll probably be, honestly, a few more hours before we get more updates. This, I believe, is a good catch-up, though. I want to see what some folks here are saying in the chat. Boy, if AI gets misused, it'll be insane. No kidding. AI unsettles so many people. I wonder what they know. No kidding. Let's see here. Alt AI, Open Sam. Let's see here. Elon is not afraid of AI. He's afraid of going too fast and breaking things. Broken AI is not that easy to fix, says Max here. The board lost confidence in Altman. Yeah, no kidding. It's going to be very interesting to see how this gets put together. Well, I want to see a movie on all of this. Problem is, it's going to take like 2 or 3 years to get to, but probably will be. Yes, we are working on getting notifications for all the other channels on the Meet Kevin app. Absolutely. I will get an update for everyone on that as well. Let me see if I can get that right now. Do you know anything for notifications on the Kevin app with other channels? All right. All right, very good. So that's the latest with Altman. Looking for, just seeing if, and we've covered basically every bit of the new news. Looking to see if there's anything brand new beyond this. There is a Times piece talking about it. What happened? Altman was abruptly dismissed. We know that. Kind of reminiscent of when Steve Jobs was kicked out of Apple in '85. Details are still emerging. It doesn't seem implausible at all that we have computers that are smarter than people. Maybe that led to some more fear. Altman and Brockman would almost certainly build a new company if they were kicked out permanently out of OpenAI. TBD, Altman and Brockman now at the office to negotiate with the OpenAI staff. Well, all right. There it is. So we'll keep an eye on what happens here. Make sure to subscribe to the live channel. I'll bring live updates as they come in. Really appreciate you all. Yeah, we have an app. You can download it. It's Meet Kevin in the App Store. But anyway, we'll see you soon. Thank you so much for being here. Hope you like these sort of pop-in streams as the news pops up. I'll keep bringing them to you. Thanks, folks. Bye.